Welcome back, everybody. A major legal rejection for Michael Flynn today. An appeals court denying Flynn's request to have his case thrown out immediately. Now it's up to the district court judge, who will likely schedule a hearing to decide if the Trump administration's request to throw out the case is in the public interest. That judge had began to scrutinize the request to drop the case, which Flynn's lawyers opposed, leading the DOJ to admit in response to questions from the court that AG Barr's decision to drop Flynn's case might have come from non-public information. And here's what Barr had to say about the case earlier this month.
The case was sort of hinky. It didn't all add up because the call on its face was a perfectly legitimate call for the incoming national security advisor to make. They were saying they didn't believe that he thought he was lying at the time. And, various other facts like that about what the real purpose of the interview was. It was untethered to any legitimate investigative purpose. Its sole purpose was to try to get him to lie.
All right, joining me now, is former acting U.S. Solicitor General Neil Katyal. Neil, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on this. I want you to clarify something for me here. As I was taking viewers through the top of this thing, at one point, you have the DOJ admitting in response to questions from the court that AG Barr's decision to drop Flynn's case might have come from non-public information. What, in fact, are they referring to here?
Well, we have no idea. I mean, there have been all sorts of shifting stories out of the Barr Justice Department, but I think today's decision really puts an end to all of this. It's a really bad day for Trump and a bad day for his Justice Department and a bad day for Michael Flynn. I mean, it's ironic that Donald Trump is saying that he's going to keep us safe. He couldn't even keep Michael Flynn safe, and for good reason, because Flynn was asking to do something extraordinary here. He was asking to interrupt an ongoing criminal proceeding in which he pled guilty. So when you hear Barr say, oh, the evidence didn't add up or something, Flynn himself pled guilty, said, I did it. He was the national security advisor. He was represented by all sorts of counsel. And for that reason, the Justice Department, which I used to work at, traditionally always opposes these kinds of motions to interrupt criminal proceedings, because otherwise every criminal defendant's going to try and do that. And what unfortunately Trump has done is make the Justice Department bend to his will and side with people who were admitted criminals, just as kind of the Republicans in the Senate are now siding with Russia. And this is all about Russia. The lies Flynn made were about his dealings with Russia.
It's incredible to me that this has taken place, because one feels as if when they're looking at the office of the presidency, that the Justice Department should be a check and balance for the office of the presidency. Do protections need to be put in place for future presidents so as these sorts of things can no longer happen?
I'm so glad that you asked that, because I think the Justice Department traditionally does act independently and as a check to investigate executive branch wrongdoing, and that has been destroyed in this Justice Department. And so it falls on the courts. And today's decision, an 8-2 decision, a total rebuke of what Trump and his Justice Department have done. And these are very centrist judges. These are not like wild-eyed judges. And they went out of their way to basically attack the author of the initial decision, who was actually someone who worked for Trump, and to say this is just all wrong. And so, you see the courts pushing back, but you're absolutely right that I think, our system has been built on some presumption of good faith, fair dealing by the president. And what he has done is spit on that.
Just quickly here, Neil, what happens to Flynn now? What's his trajectory?
So it goes back to the trial court. I mean, Flynn can try and take the case to the United States Supreme Court, but I think it's going nowhere and nowhere fast. So I think it goes back to the trial court, where there will be an investigation by the judge, as is the right of the American people to know, why did this Justice Department do what it did for Michael Flynn, of all people, who was so closely allied with the president? The whole notion of justice is that it's supposed to be blind, that it doesn't matter whether you're the friend's president or enemy, you get the same rules. And what this episode shows, and I think that's what the judge is trying to get at, is, did that happen here? Almost certainly not.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.